moving on with the story. So, briefly, let's refer just to the episodes involving the winner of the beauty pageant contest. We met by chance in the middle of town, across the street from the headquarters of the police, next to Victory Avenue. And difficult to know why she entered a sort of a relationship with yours truly. And so far, there was an accident with a woman that crossed the street on a red light, which was a sort of a major event. And I think the bond is consolidated. The bond of the relationship reaches maybe the maximum intensity, a peak on this day I'm trying to talk about. So I had taken her to some relatives, uncle, I'm thinking, to a village in the south east in Oltenia. But since I had an uncle nearby, when I went to take her back to Bucharest from this short holiday of a week or so, just before Christmas, I think it must have been, although there's no snow in that period. I took a whole party to visit our own relative, Aurel, twin brother of my late mother, my dead mother. So there was her, there was Laurențiu, there was Uncle Sando, and the dog, Daryl Van Horn. When we stopped at the uncle, they got drunk. Oh, it's so nice to see you, let's have a drink. To you, this. And on the way back, the nice general, very, by the way, a very intelligent and very likable relative. They have stories with him from the ones in which his brother, Uncle Sandu, fools him when he comes to Bucharest with various things at the subway. You have to. I'm inventing this. I don't know, but he was a specialist in pranks. You have to go at the gate over there at that box, and you have to show them you have red underwear. Otherwise, that's no, that couldn't be, and he wouldn't go for that. But something silly anyway. And then maybe he's at the center of the story with Regele Mihai vine spre noi. They go to the cinema. They first thing, well, he's a child, and he doesn't know how to sit because there are folded chairs, and he sees the others are sitting, but there's no chair in my area. He has to fall down anyway. And then during the introduction, or there's the king, when they're showing something the king does at that point. Maybe King Michael already, and should have been. If they're children, maybe it would have been his father, King Carol. Anyway, so look, King Michael is coming towards us because it's his first time in, and has happened before with many, probably. They don't know the idea, and they think, being a small child. But otherwise, he was celebrated for the fact that he was an accomplished engineer. He worked in the team which constructed Sala Palatului, a palace hall, some important building in the center of the city. And a very bright young man, and then a bright older man, of course. Very nice, very gentle. I liked him. But one we saw rarely because he was the only one living further from Bucharest, from Pitești. All the others were either in Bucharest or in Pitești. So anyway, he fills the trunk with some more wine, I guess. Plus, there's a rooster or a living hen there, which will create trouble. Once we get to Bucharest, first of all, there's some chaos. Perhaps also on the way, even if I was with the one I loved and she was sitting in front, and never mind the crazy, drunken people in the back. But once we reached Sfânta Vineri, next near Union Square, we went to the flat, and it was some. Plus, there was this problem with the dog and the hen. The hen traveled in the trunk in a box or something. But once the flat, she had to go, or he had, I'm not sure it was a rooster or what was it, poor animal, on the balcony. But the dog was, knowing it's some potential prey or an enemy or whatever he thought there is, there he was always agitated and salivating. I don't know. So the next morning, we had to do something with it, with the animal. One of them had to be sacrificed. In the evening, I think I remember we took a bath together, made love for the first time, and that, I was saying at the beginning of this note, probably consolidated the relationship, celebrated the fact that we're lovers for what it's worth. For a few months will be that way, when possible, because she would stay there, but then mother would come down and she would leave elsewhere, so more complicated. Anyway, having this bath, the water overflowed or something. So the next morning, the neighbor from the first floor, we were at the second floor, or third in American American terms. The ground floor is the first floor, I think, or is it the other way? Anyway, so second floor, considering a separate ground floor. If we equal the ground floor with the first floor, then it would be a third level. So whichever it is, the one look came in the early morning. Look, some water came from your bathroom, and there's a spot on that. Oh, I'm very sorry about that, but listen, would you care to kill this rooster for me? I said to him something like that, because I never, and I don't know how to, I never. So he did. Again, vague as it is in the memory, I think. The shops at the ground floor were not ready, or at least some of them were not in use, and I think this is where he had the rooster or hen taken and cut her throat. Now they have shops and a post office, in fact, exactly under the apartment, where for some years there was a sort of a cafeteria where some of the famous, the holograph idiot, Bitman came, and others. I'm saying idiot because he's denying COVID. He thinks it's a sham. It's a conspiracy, and people get money to pretend they have it. Anyway, idiotic. And there were some disputes because whatever. So, as I said, for how long, a month maybe, she stayed there in the flat at Uniri. But not immediately. How was it? First of all, we had this arranged meeting with her parents. They came for a visit to Bucharest, all the way from the north of Moldova. And at that time, it was decided. I think surely she thought, but it was better, I thought, to say nothing about the relationship. Have me come around, but just as a friend, as a platonic friend, or what today would be probably that's what they do in comedies, in American movies. The gay friend. I'm threatening, he's not. Fact is, they had always wanted something special, somebody better than what you can see. Well, here, what you can see here, of course, would have not been any good. But I'm saying the younger, brighter, better version of this guy was not acceptable, no matter how much better he was, if he was. So then I was invited. This is a friend from Armenian. And I'm not sure if I played the role so well that they had no idea, no doubt about the truth of the matter. The heart of the matter, to refer to a title of a book that I love, Graham Greene, one of my absolute favorites, even if I'm not sure if we should say Graham Greene, considering it has an E at the end. It's not Green, it's Green E, or just Graham Greene. Or if it's my play acting, it was, or they just couldn't believe. I mean, this guy? No. For our own queen, princess? No, it's not possible. Get out of here. Forget about it. Again, to quote Donnie Brasco, Johnny Depp has the leading role in Donnie Brasco, playing against Al Pacino. And he says to his FBI colleagues that he's an infiltrated agent within the mob. That's what the gangsters say all the time. That's their mantra, their cliche. He doesn't say that. They like something, a car, oh, what a nice car, forget about it. Or simply forget about it. Forget about it, forget about that. So, yeah, well, it was a thing, this face-off with Mother, Queen Mother, Leo. She was Leo, as a zodiac sign.